Why, hello there, Exile. I had a very busy week at work this week, but I finally got a chance to play last night, and I made it to tier 15, tier 16s, almost finished my Atlas, did some endgame bosses, and I wanted to share with you how the build is doing. Tweaks I made, issues I ran into, where I'm going with this build. I'm going to be showcasing today an Expedition, a Breach, and a Delirium, all in tier 16s. Before I overload you with rapid fire knowledge, here's a friendly reminder to like the video. I'm sure your eyes will be glazed over and your brain melted by the end of this video. I also want to politely ask some of you to chill out. There have been so many people, oh, I bet this build, it can't do tier 15s. Can it even boss? I bet it can't boss. He hasn't answered me. He's not answering the comments. Oh, he must not be able to do that. And maybe I work full time and run a company. Maybe my whole life isn't this game. Maybe I do this for fun when I have time because I enjoy helping people. Some of you are a bunch of whiny, entitled crybabies. Wah, wah, wah. He didn't upload a video for a whole day. Wah. Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, who's a good boy? Oh, Gucci, Gucci, goo. I feel like if I talk through that, through a whole video, it would have a better chance of landing and some of you guys paying attention. Then there's this other group of people who are terrified of wrecking their build or deviate even slightly or experimenting even slightly. Like, I don't know, someone's gonna execute them if they try to change the build slightly or try something out. And they want me to give them permission to try everything. It's your character. Do whatever you want. I ain't your daddy. I ain't out here helicopter dicking around. Not me. Also not me. Well, I feel much lighter. Getting that off my chest, we probably should talk about the character in PoE 2. Okay, let me loot these chests really quick. I mean, we're bound to get something good at some point, right, guys? We're gonna get something good.
We ain't found
Here are the main components of the build. We're using Frenzy-empowered spear skills. We get Frenzy charges by Sniper's Mark with a chance for extra charge support, and from Combat Frenzy, which gives you a Frenzy charge on Pin, Freeze, or Electrocute. With 20% quality, Combat Frenzy has a 20% chance to give an extra charge. In this setup, we are using Painter's Gloves to split our damage into 3 elements, so we can freeze and hopefully use Trinity. With the changes in this patch, you need to heavily invest into freeze buildup, or you're not going to be able to freeze bosses. I'm also using 50% more freeze support gem on Stormlance, our single target skill. Because we're using multiple elements, we can use both Herald of Ice and Herald of Lightning for insane screen coverage. You, of course, could go something more defensive and not do that. It's all up to you. It's your build. Unfortunately, maintaining Trinity has been way harder than I thought, so I may be dropping that out of the build and switching to Brotherhood Ring to convert lightning to cold, and then using a different pair of gloves. For Lightning Spear, we are using a support that has a chance to not consume charges. This is how we sometimes end up with 3 charges. When Lightning Spear hits a target, it then splits into bolts. You can get 2 extra bolts with quality on Lightning Spear. These bolts can chain, fork, or pierce, although the lance cannot. We're using Gamble Shot, which adds randomly a chain, fork, or pierce. We also use Volt, which gives you charges when you move. And then when you cast a spear, it dumps all those charges to let it chain additional times. In some cases, we're getting 4 chains. With spear skills, you always want to be moving. This also helps you dodge mob projectiles and other off-screen targeting, such as charges. For single target, we throw down Storm Lances, weave in Sniper's Mark, and then detonate them with Thunderous Leap. Once again, always be moving, especially on bosses. Walk probably in a circle. There's also a note on the tree called Falcon Dive. It gives 1% attack speed for 250 accuracy. My main skill has 16,000 accuracy, so I get 64% increased attack speed. The other main part of this build is accuracy stacking. Our Ascendancy gives us flat crit per overcapped accuracy, allowing us to massively scale our damage with crit multi. Let's walk through a scenario. If you had 600% increased damage, with a 100% chance to crit and 700% crit multi, you'd have 7 times 7, a 49x damage multiplier. This could get out of control really quickly. Additionally, we have an Ascendancy that gives us 25% accuracy locally on our weapon as physical. This allows more options when it comes to spears. Flat damage is really hard to come by in this game. For defense, I'm mainly counting on freezing them, but I also bought a Corrupted Luck Kaisade with 42% block, and then I picked up some block nodes in order to get 65% block. I feel that I'm lacking on HP, so I'll be adding some energy shield and evasion as well when I get more drops and levels. Okay, let's look at gear. Oh, by the way, I'm level 88 currently. This is my life and stuff. I'm kept on res, barely. Evasion, non-existent. Armor, pretty darn low. But I have 65 block. I have a bunch of spirit. I kind of invested heavily into spirit with my body armor and my amulet. All to get this right here, Trinity. But it doesn't have a good uptime. So that is 100 spirit and putting a whole strain on my gear. And it's supposed to give me 11% more for 50 of each. You can get up to 300. Well, not exactly, because you lose it every time you're attacking a little bit. And then if you haven't gained it, you're losing it. So you really can only get 5 times this, but that's 55% more damage right now if I can get all of them up. However, I cannot, so it's like 30% more damage. So is that worth putting all the strain on my gear and staying with these gloves? I'm not sure that it is at this point as I approach endgame. I really need more life. I mean, right now I've been okay, but there's a lot of things that are chunking me down to like 1800 life. That's like 260 left. Gets really scary. And as I want to push into harder content with like 6 mod maps, I'm only going to have 1 portal, so I cannot afford to die. So my spear, haven't changed it because these are really expensive, and I kind of got lucky with this craft, luckier than I probably realized, and the spear is probably worth about 5 divines. I'm thinking about trying to craft one of these sea glass spears, maybe using the recombinators with attack speed and a high accuracy roll, and then kind of yellowing it from there, because this has 10% base crit. Now, from our Ascendancy, we get an extra line based on our accuracy, like we mentioned. So see, this says it plus 100 to 119. I don't know where they're getting this from, because it just doesn't make any sense, if we're being honest. 44 times 0.25 doesn't add this much. So their calculation's way off. About 55% crit if we look in Path of Building. I believe Path of Building is correct, and these numbers are wrong, which is why I need more crit. Helmet, haven't changed this in a bit. I probably am going to go with dropping the accuracy on this helm, get like 150 life helm with 400 ES, because that's going to raise my effective health quite a bit. And then I would want rarity as the roll, crit chance, and 1 resist. That's solid. My amulet, I haven't changed this in a bit. I want life, probably percent life, probably percent crit, probably all attributes, and projectile skills. Our projectiles skills scale really, really heavily, so a couple plus projectile damage is actually a huge war multiplier to our skills. Okay, Lacassidae. Now this is what I was talking about. I got one with a 30% corruption on the block. This will go up to 44%. I got 42%. And what that allowed me to do then is pick up these nodes here. So for 5 points, I got 5, 5, 30, and 15. But I take 15% of the damage from blocked hits. So it's kind of like the glancing blows, but not as severe from PoE 1. But this is very much worth it to me. Now the downside of blocking is if you were stunned or frozen, if we read what stun is, stunned here. Actually, it says on block right here. See this? You will still take damage while stun, freeze, and other debuffs from hit. You cannot block while stunned or frozen. So you still will take stun and freeze when you block. So we're still going to see ourselves be stun locked kind of for periods of time. Unfortunately, that means that our charm doesn't proc on the block stun. I think they coded this wrong. It's probably supposed to. So I've died kind of to that. Before, I tried picking up these nodes here, stun recovery. This also doesn't seem to work with it. It doesn't help me in the slightest. So my only way out of this is probably to get more HP and more energy shield. So I'm going to have to pick up some of the gain additional stun threshold equal to % of maximum energy shield. So I can push my energy shield to like 4K and then get a couple of those either on jewels or like a node or two. And then I'll have much more stun threshold and that problem will go away. Okay, body armor, I already showed you. High life roll with spirit and then some resist and some life regen, which is just nice for topping me off. Other than that, not really good defensively. I mean, life kind of is a defense. We have the block. I probably will go with energy shield evasion or just maybe even a pure energy shield. I might go pure energy shield, or maybe I'm toying with it, going full evasion and then coming up to here and grabbing energy shield per 12 evasion rating. I can get like a 3K evasion and then I'll just pretty much evade or block anything. Maybe I even do that and pick up this acrobatics with some nodes so that I could just evade slams, especially if I'm just a bad player and can't deal with bosses. So that might be a like worst case scenario. We might be going that route if I can't deal with the bosses. Okay. We have rings. I haven't replaced these in a while. I kind of want flat damage, higher accuracy, life on both of these. I'm probably going to go with that unique one that turns all my lightning into cold because we can still get shock from one of our skills here. If we read a line here, I believe it's on the Frenzy Charge. Frenzy Charge Stormlance creates shocked ground, so we don't have to worry about shocking anything. And then what we can do is set up our Herald of Ice to shock with Innervate and probably the thing that converts a chunk of the damage into lightning damage. I believe it applies after, but I have to double check that. Our gloves, right now, this splits it and gives us damages extra, which is pretty nice. I've used this the whole way up to here, but I think I've finally outgrown these gloves, especially I will probably use that ring. There are new gloves that just got released, and they basically allow you to push penetration of a monster negative and get a more multiplier for that. So I might go all cold, baby, all cold for days, and then push my cold pen really, really, really high for more damage multiplier. Okay, my belt. I don't think I can replace this anytime soon. We got 2 decent res rolls, some strength, life, and mana on it. What more can you really ask for other than charm slots? But they're supposed to be changing all the belts to get more charm slots the higher level, so that'll be nice. Okay, my boots. These were basically about resists and getting some stats up and having high movement speed. I definitely probably want these to just be pure energy shield, maybe with life energy shield roll. I don't know. I don't know what we want to do with these boots. I probably will have to wear them because it'll be like 10 divines to replace them to get what I truly want. All right, that does it for the gear, other than just the flasks. Let me mouse over those. Now let's look at jewels on the tree. So I have some pretty nice jewels. I'm mana starved at all times, so I got some mana on kill. So freeze buildup, hold pen, and mana on kill for a little bit. Then we want maximum energy shield, crit damage bonus, freeze buildup, hold pen. This is like an ideal jewel, other than the mana ones that I want. Got another. This one gives me life and mana on kill. I also like life on kill. It saves my butt so many times. And magnitude, I really want to replace this one and get like life, mana on kill, maybe like crit multi, whatever. We probably want crit actually on our jewels as well. Then I got another crit damage bonus, freeze buildup, magnitude of ailments. Then I went with a unique jewel. That gives me iron reflexes, or that I can allocate here. I'm using that to get attributes, because boy, getting attributes is a pain in the butt. And I'm pretty starved for area of effect. So I use this, and this makes my heralds larger. And it also increases the seek range of the lightning spear, which is very, very nice. Very, very nice. It's a little more at impression, probably really bad. All right, let's look at the tree. Oh, okay, Ascendancy first. So this is the node. It exceeds and gives us that crit. This is some bonus extra for the accuracy on the weapon. This infuses our weapon whenever we're using them frenzy charges, so we have this up. It only is going to 170 right now. When we get to higher level, I think it goes to 180, so it's just giving us some extra damage and some utility. We have some blind on it and some other good stuff. We're probably going to pick up Predatory Instinct. If we don't need a weapon with this, we maybe will pick this movement speed up, or we'll pick up this Life Leech. Is also based on elemental damage. Haven't decided. Let's see here. Other important components is accuracy. So we have this, was what we were talking about for the attack speed with the accuracy. So we have accuracy nodes here and a little bit on here. Freeze buildup. So this is freeze and build stun. This is freeze and stun buildup. This is how we were able to freeze the boss. And then we also have freeze buildup here. And then, of course, on the jewels. And then, as I mentioned before, we have the 50% more freeze buildup glaciation on Stormlands, which is our single target. And then crit nodes. So we have crit nodes here. We have crit nodes here, and here, and here, and here. And previously we had ones over here, but I dropped those. So that is where we are kind of at with the build. Most people's builds kind of look similar, except for they're going in for electrocute. I went for the freeze. And I am able to both freeze and stun bosses with my current setup. With the ring, it's going to be pretty out of control. I did try dropping these, and then I just couldn't freeze consistently enough. So I had to drop some damage to get these back. Now I'm just kind of stacking crit multi with my levels. I'm teasing going all the way to here and getting this freeze duration, because it's almost an extra second on freeze, plus this is a ton of freeze buildup, and someone just texted me. It's probably some scam thing, so fun. What else? Skills. Okay, infused weapon, I have blind and cold exposure on crit. I don't know what to do with this. I was going to use it to do all sorts of cool things, but this doesn't have an attack tag. So a lot of things that I was trying to get to work with doesn't work. Lightning Spear, you want quality, it gives you extra lightning bolts. Also you want high level, it gives you lightning bolts. Bullseye, this is more accuracy. More accuracy means more crit and more attack speed, or increased attack speed from Falcon Dive. Perpetual charge, chance to not remove the charges. Then we have Gamble Shot, which is our fork chain pierce. Volt, which we move around. I don't think the 5% as extra lightning is working when applied to this skill. I'm pretty sure it's bugged. I guess they'll figure that out eventually. Long shot, more damage for the farther away you are, and we are far away. Blindside, we're blinding with this, so they'll be blinded, and then we have more crit and more crit damage bonus. More damage when they're on low life. That's how we burst them in that very little bit. You'll all of a sudden see they go low life, and then they're dead. 25% more elemental damage, and then we got freeze buildup. Thunderous Leap, more attack speed. Cadence, this isn't working with it because it probably has an attack, but this doesn't count as an attack, and I don't know why. It shows like it should. It's in the recommended gems, I think, for this, and it still doesn't work. This is just for some consecrated ground, but the consecrated ground is a laughable radius, but still, it saved me it saved me a couple times, just barely, when I was off by a little bit of life. So whatever, keep it in for now. Herald of Thunder, I'm using this to proc Ice Bite, so I convert it all to cold with cold infusion, and then I penetrate with cold. Combat Frenzy, this you want quality on, because it gives you the extra charge. And then I have accuracy support. Remember, we talked about accuracy good. Sniper's Mark, chance for an extra charge. Cooldown, because this is a cooldown, and less cost because it's kind of expensive. I actually haven't leveled it, it's only level 14. Takes a crap load of mana, it scales really quickly. Herald of Ice, I have Innervate on it. I have Shock, so it shocks. Gives me extra procs of this, although it can no longer proc Herald of Thunder. The bolts could still proc it, so you could still have the chain reaction where it's generating more bolts and Herald of Thunder keeps going off. Fire Infusion. I have this because of Trinity, and I'm trying to get the fire component from Trinity. Probably going to drop this and go for the opposite of what I had, which is the lightning infusion on Herald Device. Barrage, this is a new support. Makes you not consume charges, so we can actually use Barrage and still use Empowered Spears. Otherwise, it's going to consume all of our Frenzy charges. And then we have more damage, so after we press Barrage, it's going to infuse our skill and give us more damage, and it's going to give us Calling Strike. And then we have Trinity, which for each type, it'll go up, and then we just added some skill levels to it. So that is where the build is currently. Next thing we're doing is trying to hunt for more upgrades, probably swapping the ring out, and then going for more defensives. Hope you all are doing well. Let me know if you have any questions on the build. We have a Discord which you can join and ask questions there. A lot of people are playing the same thing. Hope to see you around.